Well, ambulance girl was wondering how I was going to get that stove out of the back of the chick magnet. And I work out ways to do that stuff. You know, I can usually manage. But what I'm going to do is use this device here, which I did mean to show sometime. Something I put together and designed years ago. It works like a forklift. You know, it's got the two tines that'll go under a pallet, but I use it for lifting logs and stuff. But my bucket on the Red Menace here is just held on with 4 pins. And I designed this thing to replace the bucket. So I'll just knock those 4 pins out of there, stick this in. The one change I made to it this year, this is a new adaptation, put a bracket here that I can use if I want to put it on the 3-point. You know, then use the bottom 2 tabs in that one, and it'll work on the 3-point. It'll replace, you know, I use this bale mover all the time. That's about the handiest thing, you know, for hauling logs and dragging logs and just everything you can think of. It's a good solid place to hook onto. But the tines are fairly long for lifting logs, you know, because you want the log up here. Well, when you get them on the end, that's a lot of weight way on the outside. So that's where this little one comes in handier. The tines are shorter, you know, long enough to get a hold on a log, but not so long that it gets to be awkward. But it works pretty good. It's just put together out of scrap metal from some project my brother had worked on. And those tines on the bottom, you know, they don't look very fat, but that's a real thick wall material. You know, they're real heavy. They can lift a heck of a lot. But I'll go ahead and pull them pins out and mount this and show you how that looks. But works really handy for handling like brush and stuff like that, and big logs, because you can't really do much with just a bucket in that kind of material. But this thing works really good for that. It isn't long enough to handle a round bale. It wouldn't balance. You would have to chain it in. But for what I need it for, it's just perfect. And she's built plenty heavy, you know, really overbuilt, but it'd be easier to overbuild than it is to repair. But I'll mount that up. Well, that's the device in position, and it's got a lot of range of movement. But like I say, it's overbuilt, you know, because even when I put this extra bracketing in here, and like these pieces here are actually cut and run in, so it's welded all the way around. So she's a good solid unit. But, you know, when you're lifting a log 10 feet up in the air, you don't want something that's going to give out on you. But handy device for nothing but a little time invested. But now what I'll do for the stove, you know, I'll slide a pallet on here and lift it to the height of the end gate and just slide the stove onto it so I can put it wherever I want it. But it's handy for a lot of things. And I'm sure they, you know, I have seen factory-made ones similar to this, but a lot of them have where the tines are adjustable like what a forklift has, but I don't really need that. I just need it to be stable and to get under things. So this worked out good for, like I say, very little money.